Rolling and the sound is speeding. Hi, welcome to another episode of This Week with Drew for Thursday, September 30th, 2021. What's going on? On today's episode, we got some miners stuck at the bottom of some kind of well. 6 miners at the bottom of the hole, cause you know it ain't gay if you stuck in the hole for 3 days, cause you know it's a journey, it's a homie jerking off 6 ways. And now we miners jerking off in the hole. Okay, what? Hi, welcome to another episode of This Week with Drew for Thursday. This never-ending podcast. The never-ending podcast with the unending... welcome to another episode of This Week with Drew for Thursday, September 30th, 2020. What the fuck's going on? How are you? Thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you are doing well. Let's start off the show with a little bit of, I didn't plug my piano again, so I forgot. We got a little bit of, how was my motherfucking week? How was my motherfucking week? Whoa, let's stick that back. Stick that back up there. Okay, how was my week? I hope you had a good week. Last time we checked in on Monday, we were talking about the weekend, and now it's on my weekend. Now it's how was my week? You know, it's been busy. I hope you've been busy too. It's Thursday, you know, we're almost there. It's one more day to the weekend and everybody's working for the weekend. As fucking Triumph or one of those, is that Triumph or no? Who the fuck sings everybody's working for the weekend? Everybody's working for the weekend. What a proletariat anthem. Okay, so let's see. What do we got here? How was my week? My week was pretty good. I've just been chipping away at school here. I had a coaching session for my career because we got to get we're getting like a internship or whatever next semester. So I got to figure out, you know, get my resume together, get my cover letter together, get all that shit together. And then we got this guy Shem, who's like the executive producer of the Roz and Mocha show. So, yeah, shout out to all my school homies, too. Everybody was saying this week, we were talking about podcasts, and a lot of my people who go to school listen to this podcast. And there's someone said, or I think it was Brady, who's just like I just wait every week to see if I made it on the podcast this week or some shit like that. Because I go hard on some of these motherfuckers, man. Like, there's some kids in this class that it's just like, bro, how the fuck you are a complete failure of the Ontario education system. Like, I ain't gonna be naming names on that one, but there are children in this class who it's just like, how the fuck did you graduated high school and you write like that? Like, how the fuck? This no zeros thing, like these kids, man, these fucking, you know, when in the 90s, bro, you just straight up failed. There was kids, it's like, yeah, there's fucking Curtis. This is his 3rd time trying grade 5. Like, he's really fucking trying. But now Curtis, he just goes right on through and they give him a fucking accommodations. And they go, well, Curtis can't sit still. So he's just going to have to interrupt the fucking class this whole time. And it's like, well, fucking Curtis, man, like, bro, you know, back in the day, capitalism dictates that you fucking push a broom. I guess I can't also be anti-capitalist and then be like fend for yourself if you can't conform to society. But that being said, some of these fucking kids that I go to school with, it's like, Jesus fuck, man. And I only have one in-person class, and that's as much as I need, I think. I don't think I need. I'm really happy I've been able to do this fucking diploma completely online in this room here because it's nice. There's sometimes, man, if it's my turn to talk is done and now there's a bunch of dummies coming up, like I'm sorry, like I'm out of here. I'm leaving this room. And it's nice, and I'm gonna go work on something else, work on other homework. I'm gonna go maybe fucking rip a doobie out on the balcony. You know, I might do a little yoga. I might do a little 10-minute yoga with Adrienne while this fucking dummy talks. You know, who knows? And if I were to have to be there, I think I would be banging my head against the desk, you know, listening to these children, these literal children. And it's so, the bell curve, it's nice for me because the bell curve is like pretty decent, like on my end. Like they're just like expecting just basic, like, you know, competency of the English language. Not even that. Some of these writing, and it's all writing, and I see who made it to 2nd year, and it's just like, well, fuck, man. What is the point of having a 4.0 GPA even? You know, like I'm losing faith in the system. Who gives a fuck? You get 90, you get 4, it's fucking 50, whatever. I'll see you tomorrow. But I mean, that's not to besmirch the program itself. I think it's more of an indictment on the education system as a whole. But anyways, school is going good. I had my coaching session, and I just kind of I used that as like a job interview, because I actually applied for a job at the Roz and Mocha show, and I told him that, and he said he had 750 applicants for that job. One other cool thing about the Roz and Mocha show and or Kiss 92.5, which is the big top 40 station here in Toronto, I've actually worked for Kiss 92.5 as a sound guy before. I did sound for Chromeo, and I did sound for Loud Luxury. Like, I was the fucking front of house live sound reinforcement technician. And I told Shem that, and we had actually met before. We chilled and we had a beer together after the Loud Luxury show. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't remember, whatever. And I'm like, yo, it's all good. But I was like, this is my opportunity. I get 15 minutes with this guy. Like, I'm going to sell myself as hard as I absolutely can. Like, I want to work in a major market, or at least get an internship and just get my foot in the door. Like, Roz and Mocha show is the biggest morning show in the country. You know, if I can fucking get in, or at least get on the radar, or the producer of that show, then why wouldn't I? So I told him, I was like, you know, this is my interest. This is what I do, blah, blah, blah. And he seemed to have a piqued interest in my own shit. And then he asked me if I was good with video content, and you know, I'm not gonna, you know, we're I don't know what I'm allowed to say here. I don't have a job, obviously. This is not some acting bullshit, but you know, there's things coming up where the people of my skill set might be of valuable usage to this radio station. I don't know, whatever the fuck. So I'm gonna be keeping on the horizon for that, man. Also, don't worry, I'm never gonna quit doing stand-up. Never gonna quit doing stand-up. This is just a new supplementary thing, you know. I was of the mindset that, because when I came up in stand-up, it was just like, if you have a job other than being on the road, then you're not an actual comedian, unless that job is a TV writing gig. Then you can still be a comedian, but any other job is like, you're not actually doing this. You have a secret side. Like, you're not a fucking comic. You're not a full-time comic. You make a little scratch on the road, but you ain't a fucking dog. You ain't out here with the rest of us, handling up Highway 43, dropping off a load of jokes and coming on back at midnight, drive all night just to get back home. But the way I see it, any job in the fucking media entertainment industry is a good way to supplement, is a you know, like, the being on the road as a full-time, that's a fucking joke anyways. People who think that they're, like, people who do stand-up who don't have day jobs in this country are fooling themselves into thinking that they're actual comedians, man. An actual comedian, a legitimate comic, does door deals. So unless 95% of what you do is a fucking door deal, then you're not a fucking real comic. If you're just charging X amount of dollars for a service provided, well, that's what fucking DJs do. You know, that's what fucking, you're a mobile entertainer. You know, you're not a fucking a comic has a fucking fan base and a point of view and a accompanying podcast and a fucking digital content that reinforces the fucking point of view. And it's not just, hey, we'll sell you a fun time. Like, that's a mobile entertainer. A fucking stand-up is a, you are operating in a sort of Socratic fucking mentality. That's why people always fucking are all hard on Patrice's dick. And I'm not gonna say that Patrice is one of the best comics who ever lived, but people are all hard on his dick because he had the Socratic approach, which is kind of the seed of stand-up, which is the Socratic approach is just an unexamined life is not worth living. And it's not necessarily about having the answers. It's about just the fact that we're able to ask these questions. And that's why a lot of comics look up to Patrice, and they want to do that because he's operating from the ultimate truth, the ultimate Socratic pursuit of truth. And that is one definition of stand-up comedy. And I think that has to be, it doesn't have to be everything that you do. You can still be silly and funny and be Mitch Hedberg, but still operate from that Socratic questioning, you know, of his questioning was of the language and the way that we communicate with each other and why things are normal and why other things aren't normal. And he used a very silly sort of persona to and you know, one-liners and everything to illustrate that, and you just surely didn't get a sense of what Mitch Hedberg's personal life was like or what he thought about things you know, directly, but the implicit bias, and same with Jerry Seinfeld, the implicit point of view is that you're all fucking stupid. It's like, don't you see how fucking stupid this shit is? but Jerry Seinfeld, what's the deal with and then Mitch Hedberg's like, oh, I want a frozen banana. I don't want a regular banana, but yeah. So it's like, why do we ask these, So that's the thing of stand up. So that's why I feel like this radio shit is just like it's like I'm in the entertainment industry. I'm exercising creativity every day. I'm on the mic every single day. I'm writing every single day. And I'm writing content that's to be good enough to be put out and then thrown away again, right? So you kind of get in this churn mentality of being able to generate new material at a very rapid pace and then throw it away and then keep on moving forward. So whereas stand-up is like, especially in Alberta, it's like, buddy, once you got that fucking act, man, you can't really change that because that's your moneymaker now, and you're gonna be fucking singing those same old tunes, fucking for the rest of your goddamn days, and that's all right, and you're gonna make your fucking 60 to 100, and if you're on a good year, and that's it. And then there may be a couple dummies that are like, that's my favorite comedian, but could they list maybe 3 other comics? I don't know why I have so much hate in my heart today for that. Okay, speaking of hate in my heart, today is September 30th. Today is the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation in Canada. As you know, or maybe don't know, my girlfriend is Indigenous, and I myself, my great-great-grandfather who fought in the Red River Rebellion with Louis Riel. And so on my dad's side, I'm also Métis and have a lot of heritage there. And I've talked about this shit before. It's really easy to fucking not consider the implications of the circumstances that led us to where we are today. It's really easy to just go about your life without, even considering why you're even here, or how you got here, or what led to this sort of, capitalist free-for-all, I can have oranges in January world that we live in, and it's really sad. And I think today is a day, like, obviously we're talking about residential schools, but this is a thing that's much larger, and it always comes back to capitalism. There are 2 ways for capitalists to increase their profits, and that's through finance or exploitation / colonialism. Like, we can either run into imaginary money scenarios, or we can just start literally exploiting the earth for what it has. And if some places don't have anything, then we're going to exploit the people. And if those people refuse to be exploited, then we're going to fucking murder them. And it's something to definitely contemplate. Like, I don't think they're like the narrative, especially for, it's really hard for me to talk about this stuff with some of my people in Alberta, because, it's a lot of times, a lot of these white guys are feeling like they're being attacked, and they haven't done anything wrong. And, that is true. Like, there is you haven't committed, Chad, the white guy in fucking, in wherever, in High River, why should I didn't fucking do anything that happened a fucking long time ago, and that sort of mentality is not really, there's no, like, you can't internalize this. There's no personal blame being shifted upon you. You don't have to feel guilty or that you've done anything wrong. But what it's about, because you haven't, but what you have to realize is that there's like, the recognition of the circumstances that led you to be here today is like, that's a heavy fucking thing to deal with, right? And that you should deal with that, and then that should cause you, once you contemplate the true genocide, the 150 million lives that were horrifically murdered, in order to start North America. To take that in is if you truly take that in, there is no way you can feel unsympathetic to the plight of the Aboriginal person today who's still here. And it's a fucking miracle that they're even still here, and that the reverberations of that violence have caused, millions of different variations of trauma that can manifest itself in fucking, substance abuse and like there was my next door neighbor when I moved into my house was a judge in the Alberta he was a judge in the Alberta court system. And he told my dad when we moved in, this was 1994 or 5, we moved into this house. And this is the quote of a judge, of a lawyer and then a judge in the Alberta court system. He said, if you see an Indian running down the back alley, you shoot him first and then you ask questions later. And that was a judge. And that was my next door neighbor. And that's what the system was. That was the system saying that. That was an arbiter of justice saying those words to my dad, who had just moved in, as this is my first piece of advice. This is the first thing I'm going to say to you. Hi, my name is, I don't need to call this guy out. He's dead, but whatever. My name is whatever my next door neighbor's name was. And nice to meet you. Oh, you guys are moving in? Good. Here's a piece of advice. And and to say that those systems are still not in place, or that the reverberations and echoes of those sentiments don't still bounce around institutions of power, is ridiculous. So it's just about that. It's not about, to any other white guys who might be pissed off about this day, to any, I shouldn't say other white guys, to any white guys or anybody who might feel like there's no reason for this, or that this is whatever. There's still, just look around, man. Listen, just take a listen. And today isn't about you. Today is about contemplation, and it's just about, giving thanks. Maybe thanks isn't the right word, but just listening. It's about listening, I think. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Not funny, obviously. It shouldn't be, though. Today, I gave you a little juice off the top, but I did want to, make a good point today on the show today to acknowledge that, this is some heavy fucking shit, man. 150 million people. And, colonization fueled by capitalism and the intersectionalities of climate change, all of this, like I said, truth and reconciliation and climate change go hand in hand. The abolishment of capitalism, goes hand in hand. Yeah. That's the show for this week. Promotional consideration for This Week with Drew is provided by our Patreons. Anthony, Blair, Joel, Nick and Mac, Bubba, Marnus, Bryce, Taryn, and in the motherfucking Hall of Fame, Colette and Andre, say their name. What up? Also, promotional consideration for This Week with Drew is provided by our sponsor, KingTutsCannabis.com. You can use the promo code Drew, DREW, for 10% off your order. Go to KingTutsCannabis.com, use the promo code Drew for 10%. And if you go visit them today, there's a little extra juice because of National Truth and Reconciliation Day. Shout out KingTutsCannabis.com. Okay, so that's the show. Thank you guys so much. I'll check back in on you on Monday.